listen. But you have to look out for the family. That's what you and Bill don't do. Sometimes you got to look out for the family.
Good morning, North Dakota and America. I have the news you've been waiting for. Feeling left behind by your government? Lied to? Cheated? I have the cure. This is for you too, college age and young adults. You've watched generations of corrupt government bureaucrats and politicians create a system that doesn't include you. Tired of corrupt, ambitious leaders that line their pockets while running up the debt that you have to pay? Are you fed up with watching billions of dollars of fraud, waste, and abuse exposed long after the damage is done? Then the criminals leave you with the bill? I have a cure. After you watch today's podcast, you're going to see the solution. You're going to watch me busting the criminals at the top, exposing the truth, the shocking truth. You will hear attorneys I stung talking about how they rob you and turn our citizens against each other for their gain at your expense. Today, you're going to watch the top criminals and how they control the media, what you see and believe. I'm going to show you the truth about the chief suspect in the nation's top investigations, who our FBI and DOJ can't seem to indict. I am the eyewitness against the person that signed the FISA warrant against Trump, and I'm revealing yet another criminal organization they ran in law enforcement that will shock you. I'm going to give you the tools and the evidence you need to make the people who robbed you pay for their crimes and put an end to this pillaging. I'm going to show you something you've never seen a candidate do before. I am exposing the criminals who are robbing you, destroying our country intentionally for their gain. Hello, everybody. I am Ferris Broxton. I'm here with the evidence the FBI claims to be looking for. Proof that the person who signed the FISA warrant against Trump is a grand conspirator. The situation is far worse than you think. I'm providing all the evidence to indict the chief suspect, but you haven't seen me on national news. I am the nation's most important unheard eyewitness. When I stung Sally Yates, she told me that she would attack Donald Trump because we are taking over the government by whatever means necessary. Don't lose track of that. The chief suspect, a top secret society kingpin, told me that we were taking over the government by whatever means necessary. When I show you what she did in her hometown circuit, you will demand accountability. In 1773, the American colonies declared their independence from the tyrannical British barons who had conquered most of the known world. The Sons of Liberty, tired of being robbed by their oppressive British government, threw the tea into the Boston Harbor. The tea was on ships belonging to the British East India Company, run by barons named Russell. The Russell barons were at the top of the secret society that controlled much of the known world by oppression, slavery, and tyrannical abuses like pushing drugs. Today, the descendants of that same Russell family are still at the top of the secret society and the British government. Our government also. I'm not referring to every single Russell or Terrell or Quillian. So if that happens to be your last name, relax. I've named and shown the lineages of the secret society family that attacked Trump and America for the last 250 years. This is the deep state. I've exposed individual criminals who conspire to rule you by whatever means necessary. White-collar mobsters that are above the law. Today, you get to see them exposed. Previous videos have gone through history and shown the historical account of how these aristocratic Russell family members and those who conspire with them in the secret society of Masons have maintained a stranglehold on our government through this grand conspiracy. What gives? You've watched with your own eyes the deep state sabotage Trump with high-tech censorship known as FISA abuse. But somehow you see me sitting in front of you producing the evidence against the chief suspect in publicly announced national investigations. Clearly, they're still doing it. They are still conspiring and using these high-tech censorship techniques to overthrow your country. To say the least, it is important for you to understand this and to help me be heard. Today, another white-collar criminal organization protected by the nation's chief suspect, Sally Quillian Yates. That's right, you're going to hear confessions that I took from the participants in this criminal organization. You'll hear attorneys who don't know I'm recording them testify about the criminal activity they are involved in. All of it, right smack dab in the hotspot of the Dixie Mafia, the Piedmont Judicial Circuit run by all three sides of Sally Quillian's family and legal family since its establishment. You're going to hear attorneys caught up in massive government criminal organization, a meat grinder that is destroying families and businesses for corrupt gain. Literally destroying fathers, mothers, and children so the authorities can steal taxpayer money and their assets under Sally Quillian's supervision and protection. Let's jump right in. This is former Assistant DA Cynthia James. She's trapped in this criminal organization. Now listen to me convince Miss James to explain what she's realized was going on in the district attorney's office. Video 1, please.
And that's what the police think. I think it's really wrong. Justice. She said, I just found out that's not what it is. But it's a complete mockery of justice.
It's a horrible awakening. That's District Attorney, former Assistant DA Cynthia James. The one before that was Jennifer Dolezal. Cynthia James told me that they called cases like mine Samson and Delilah cases. When you realize what they're doing, you're going to be shocked. This is not about speeding tickets. Have you ever read the story of Samson and Delilah? It's about the downfall of nations. This is another assistant DA talking about what Sally Yates' crime ring was doing in the district attorney's office. Video 3, please. See, the attorneys are the ones doing the domestic violence racket. Okay, I'll get the right side.
The headline, the newspaper, and paper, so it's going to get printed. So that's part of the reason why I'm no longer a prosecutor. Is I went into it with this idealistic vision of being the beacon of justice and sifting through and doing what was right by society and not doing stuff for political gain and things like that. And then I realized that's not how it is at all.
Really?
Yeah.
So it is for political gain?
A lot of it. Well, yeah, I mean,
So you heard last week Harvey Walter saying that it was the politicians that were making money off it. Well, the attorneys are too. But notice Jennifer Dolezal there starts out by saying headlines. It's going to get printed. We are going to publish a great big story that scares everybody and then ask for money and then take donations, federal, state, and local money to steal it. That's what our DA went to prison for, stealing it. It's sick. It's horrible. But notice she says things like she got into it thinking that she would be a beacon of justice, that she wanted to do what was right by society. But that's not how it was at all. Under Sally Yates' watch, Jennifer Dolezal got out of one criminal organization, the district attorney's office, and found herself in yet another criminal organization. She was just an attorney trying to make an honest living. It was the authorities that stood over her who were running the criminal organizations. The entire structure of the Bar Association under Sally Quillian Yates here in the Piedmont Judicial Circuit is illegal, against the law. It is set up as a grand conspiracy. I have the video of myself at this time showing the Bar Association publications explaining that it's illegal. I will play that, but first let me explain for those who aren't attorneys. In order to provide an honest court system, you need to have a structure. So like, say you get a speeding ticket in a town called Pendergrass. You would want to go to a law firm and be able to hire an attorney. That could not be the same attorney that the judge is in. Does that make sense? Because if you go in and you hire an attorney to represent you and defend you, and that attorney's partner is the judge, then it would be just far too easy for the two that work together to charge whatever they wanted to fix cases, right? Now, you wouldn't want another attorney in that law firm to be the police chief. You could hire somebody in that law firm to be the public defender, right? Even if there was the public defender in that law firm. But you couldn't hire somebody in the same law firm as the prosecutor. See why? Just like the judge or chief of police, it's a recipe for corruption. You would not be able to hire someone in the same law firm as the city manager, because the city manager has a vested interest, just like the chief of police. But what I'm going to show here is this goes much further than the town that the news picked up and isolated in Pendergrass. This is the entire judicial circuit. You have a constitutional right to an impartial judge or jury. The judge is not impartial if his law partner can guarantee an innocent verdict for a price. The maximum penalty for violating this code of conduct is listed in the bar publication as disbarment. Now, if any attorney in such a firm were made aware that one of their partners had violated these rules, that attorney is required to report that violation, or else they would be in violation themselves, with a maximum penalty, again, of disbarment. Now, before I get into more of the organized crime, like destroying children for money that was donated to protect children, and then stealing the money without helping the children, I want you to remember from past episodes how mobster Billy Stonewall Burt explained that a kingpin gets everybody tied up in their web, so that if the kingpin goes down, everybody goes down. You don't want to follow instructions? Sally Yates tells the attorneys under her, we can disbar you. Then you won't be able to eat. Remember, this is the circuit that the Richard Russell and Quillian family, crime family, ran for many years throughout tons of cases of organized crime that I've exposed on this website already. Watch episode 8 for more than that. They had hitmen that killed the witnesses. This is Harvey Walter talking about how attorneys in this circuit coach clients into a racket involving the district attorney's office. A racket is a criminal organization with multiple felonies. That's his words. Video 4, please.
This is Walter Harvey. Walter Harvey's been here for some 35 years practicing law. He knows exactly what's going on.
You've got the district attorney's office, domestic violence cases, and then once you don't get the record, the lawyers get the client to do the domestic violence rap.
The lawyers get the clients to conduct a criminal racket. And we just showed that they're all in bed together. Now, I haven't listed them specifically, but you're going to hear the eyewitnesses telling you what they did. This next is top Georgia lawmaker John Russell. As a refresher, John Russell was the Georgia House representative, taking over that position after his father, Alexander Brevard Russell. They held the seat for many years. Alexander Brevard Russell was also the mayor of Winder for 40 years, according to his obituary. Before him, Judge Lewis C. Russell was one of the mayors of Winder, Georgia. Lewis was married to his sister, Mary Brevard Russell. You heard that, right? This is top Georgia lawmaker John Russell from the Richard Brevard Russell law family, talking about organized crime in the family. Video 5, please. It is blackmail, and they're getting away with it, says top lawmaker and attorney from the Russell family. It is extortion, but it's legal extortion. That's why I'm having this conversation with you, he says. There's no such thing as legal extortion. Let's hear the witnesses in the law firm, in the Brad Smith gang. Incidentally, Brad Smith is still the district attorney today. Nick Prim is the chief superior court judge. He was the senior assistant DA in Jackson County, working with a district attorney who's in prison at the time. When you hear this attorney that I record, Michelle Rohan, talking about the DA's misconduct, this is who she's talking about. This is Michelle Rohan, an attorney in the Pendergrass law firm. Video 6, please. Sorry about that. We'll play it again for you right now. All right, we're going to try that again. This is Michelle Rohan.
With the judges with judges and prosecutors and the district for that.
Okay, so she's going to be one of the partners in this law firm that we're exposing today. And she says very clearly there that she sees things with the judges and the district attorney and the prosecutors and the district attorney, for that matter, that she did not feel were ethically correct. And this from somebody that's actually in the law firm with all these people. And we're going to show you why their standard requires every one of them to be disbarred. Like I said, Sally Yates owns them. Let's hear from another attorney in that law firm. This is Jennifer Dolezal. Video 7, please.
Prosecutor and the defender and the judge all in the same law firm. The prosecutor, the chief of police, and the judge all in the same law firm. And so they could fix any case. And yeah, and I wasn't prohibited if someone called and said, I have a city of Pendergrass ticket, and I have city court next week, can you represent me? They were like, you can take this with. Wow.
So you just heard her say, and this is huge, real just casual conversation until you look at it. She says, we had the chief of police, the city manager, the judge, the prosecutor in the same law firm. Now, she's in there too, and she's the public defender. And that's why you hear me saying, wow, y'all could fix any case. And she laughs. This is what you call organized crime. Not a single case that they handled was handled in compliance with the law, with regard to the citizens' rights. Wait till you see what they were doing. Video 8, please.
They brought on Rob Russell, who was the chief of police and the city manager of Pendergrass. So there for a while we had the judge, the prosecutor, and the chief of police.
That's a big city, they can't
And as an attorney all in the same law office. And incestuous is just, I think, a nice way of putting how it was there.
Incestuous, she says, is a nice way to put it how it was there. It is incest, but it's legal incest. Not lawful, but incest in the legal system. That's why I'm having this conversation with you, North Dakota and America. The Russell Secret Society has conspired to overthrow your government. Notice the chief of police was Rob Russell. You don't want the same inbred deep state families to continue to rule you for the next 250 years. I've had enough of Rob Russell and John Russell and Richard Russell and Sally Quillian Yates Russell. You want Sally Yates held accountable and dirtbags that rob you and destroy families for money to pay for their abuses and government theft. You don't want the media to lie to you and tell you that you need to help these people. And I'm not saying there's no victims. There are certainly some victims, legitimate victims that we should all be helping. But that's not what's going on here. Now, I don't want you to get the wrong impression. Blackmail, conspiracy, and extortion make slaves out of the victim. These conspiring mobsters, descendants of the largest slave-holding families in U.S. history, are discriminating. It's only fair to acknowledge that the Brad Smith's gang conspiracy and extortion is an equal opportunity defender. They're not conspiring to go after one race or another as they have in the past. They're conspiring to go after anybody that's not in their inbred club. Video 9, please.
Pay fines and stuff like that, and then the Hispanics that would come through there. Maybe we can tell them to do it, or at least
get a bunch of money out of them, Mexico.
yeah, because they know that there's that. That if they don't pay cash, they got someone in the family that'll come down and bail them out of city jail.
It's horrible.
Now, once again, they're targeting, as she says, in this case, Latinos, not targeting them to check their IDs or enforce immigration law. They're targeting them for cash. So if you were wondering why Sally Yates refused to enforce the border, you have your answer. She wants illegal immigrants because they pay cash, and they're completely under the control of the federal prosecutor. That's who decides whether they stay or whether they go. Oh, wait. Sally Yates was the federal prosecutor. And now for something completely different. Picture 5, please. This comes from Fun Facts for Kids, the Children's Encyclopedia. Now, this is not a show for children. In 2017, while Sally Yates was being discovered to have conspired against Trump, I was being held as a slave by FISA, by a FISA warrant that she got against me. You remember Trump saying that FISA would destroy any ordinary man? Also in April of 2017, Sally Yates was given the Mary Terrell Freedom and Justice Award. Mary Church married the son of Harrison Terrell, who we briefly mentioned in episode 4, I think. Harrison Terrell was the slave of Buckner Terrell, one of Sally Yates' forefathers. Sally Yates received this award while she was holding me as a slave, trying to force me into organized crime with your money and a fraudulent FISA warrant. The Mary Terrell Award, bearing the name Terrell because of the slave Harrison Terrell, who was owned by Sally Yates' family. Now, in case you don't know the history of Sally Yates' family and the secret society corruption and their abuses with, say, the secret societies and their ties to the KKK and other hate groups, I think that history should bear itself out. Picture 1, please. My alma mater, as well as Sally Yates' alma mater and Richard Brevard Russell's alma mater, and where all these people and this corruption comes from is the University of Georgia. We've laid down the history of that in past videos. What you see here is you see a catalog of Masonic materials associated with a very large exhibition at the University of Georgia. You can pull this up. It's over 250 pages long. It's called Freemasonry in Georgia, Ideals, Imagery, and Impact. They praise the Freemasons for the great things that they've done. If you buy that, I'll ask you again in about 5 minutes. Picture 2, please. This is page 6, like I said, out of over 250 pages. And this is the beginning where they're just laying out many of the materials in the exhibit. Only they don't put all of the materials out in display. They list the materials that the university owns. But what they put out for display doesn't include the truth of what they claim to be doing, right? They claim to be showing you what the Freemasons were all about, what these, the impact and the ideals and imagery, right? So here on picture 2, this is display 2, yep. You see underlined at the top there, the Yarab Temple, Atlanta Shrine Minstrels, initiates Richard Brevard Russell Jr. I just wanted to make clear that that's who we're talking about here. And that's what this is all. He was the head, top of the secret society, top of our CIA oversight since its inception. His entire family ran the circuit. I've laid down that history. He claims to be this great Christian man. Yarab Temple initiates Richard Brevard Russell Jr. Down at the bottom, you see underlined there, Salonia chapter 227, Order of the Eastern Star, Athens, Georgia. The University of Georgia is in Athens, Georgia. Sally Quillian Yates is the Order of the Eastern Star. Okay, so these secret societies that you're getting ready to turn a couple pages back and see what they're really all about and historically have done are what we're talking about. Let's go to picture 3, please. So this is page 8. This is a list of all the materials owned by the University of Georgia in regards to the Freemasons. That's the topic of the exhibition. So you see underlined there, and there's a lot more that I didn't underline. I just wanted to be able to have you look at highlight a few things. It might be hard for you to focus on that screen. But for one, you see a charter for a clan out in Georgia. In a poster at the University of Georgia. Now, I think it's kind of interesting because it says that that's not on display. The charter for a clan is not on display. What kind of clan are we talking about here? Because it all runs together. Farmers, Alliance, Ritual, Gridiron. Oh, wait. The next one down is the Klansman, Columbus, Georgia. The Klansman is a publication. It's a newspaper put out by the Masons. Look at the topic, appropriating Masonry. The Klansmen, Columbus, Georgia is what you see highlighted there. They have a Ku Klux Klan badge, Ku Klux Klan collar, Ku Klux Klan head. The notice of the next meeting of the Ku Klux Klan, Coosa Creek, Georgia. Another robe, just a collection of it. The best part is what's at the bottom. The Ku Klux Klan warning. None of these are on display. We don't get to see what their warning says. Let's talk about where the Ku Klux Klan's last stronghold was. Can we see picture 4, please? So this is something that I've found just searching for all the research I've done in the past with trying to find these people named Kidd and Jefferson, where this all takes place, right in the center of the county seat of Jackson County, Georgia. This is just a statement that I found about one of their councilmen. When Jefferson City Councilman C.D. Kidd was elected back in 1975, the town was only half as large geographically. It had a third of the population it does today. And members of the Ku Klux Klan periodically would march through the downtown square. There's a lot more to the history after slavery and how many of the freed slaves were sent back to Africa, Liberia. That's what Liberia was. The president of Liberia was a man named President Tolbert, and he was a great big Freemason. You see, the slaves of the ruling Masons often took the Masonic ideals and secret society with them. We're talking about Pendergrass. Pendergrass was ruled by the Tolberts. The judge in this case is Judge Tolbert. And now, back to our regular program. What you're about to see next is that the government under Sally Yates is completely hopeless to stand up to her organized crime. I told you this before, but it needs a little proof. Sally Yates operated on a deep state program. You have to break the law to give her control, so she has confidence that she can control you, like the way she does illegal immigrants. This is how the Freemasons operate. This is the proof that every attorney I expose today, including the Chief Superior Court Judge Nick Prim, should be disbarred. Sally Yates could have disbarred them at any time if they disobeyed her orders. See video 10, please.
Horrible, horrible. This is the State Bar of Georgia. So we go through some of the ethical violations. A partner in a law firm shall make reasonable efforts to ensure that the firm has in effect measures giving reasonable assurance that all lawyers in the firm conform to the rules of professional conduct. The maximum penalty for the violation of this rule is disbarment. I'm going to show why they did this on an everyday basis and why these people should all be disbarred. They did this every single day. While lawyers are associated in a firm, none of them shall knowingly represent a client when one of them practicing alone would be prohibited from doing so.
That was what I explained earlier, just with the actual bar statements that every single person in that law firm should have been disbarred every day that they operated. Let's see what that looks like in practice. The attorneys have to practice law in this impossible environment of well-established white-collar mafia corruption. Now, I'm out of room for these videos. I've got plenty more. And the ones that I have are only a tiny little fraction of what I've collected. I've got videos for days, but I'm out of room on this. I can only produce 10 videos. This is going to be picture 6. I have to take a screenshot from a video for you to see what this attorney's saying. This is Paula Free. She's telling me about the system and how it hurts kids. If you read that, it's really disturbing. I recorded numerous attorneys telling me how they were destroying families for money. I can't even get into that. It's so horrible right now. But what I want you to notice here is down at the bottom of the transcript, you can see the statement. You're not going to find an attorney that's going to make accusations against a retired judge around here. I learned that the hard way. I spent tens of thousands of dollars hiring attorneys that would not let me review the courtroom transcripts. I didn't know that my mother-in-law was the judge's transcriptionist. I didn't know that they had a criminal organization. I just knew they kidnapped my child, and they still kidnap today. This is not a government with independent judges accountable for their actions. It is a crime ring run by a crime boss. I have the statements, videos of the statements that I sent to the JQC, where they wrote me back and said, there's no ethical violation here. The attorneys, every single one of them said they can't do this, but they do it all the time. Now, this is Wanda Barnett. Picture 7, please. She doesn't even believe what the judge did, but I have the receipts proving it. And the video of those receipts is here now. I put all these videos up on YouTube. I have them now. But they were able to censor me and take them off the internet because Sally Quillian Yates was the U.S. attorney. She could cover up the investigations that led back to her. What you're looking at right now is Wanda Barnett saying that she doesn't even buy it, that she doesn't believe that a retired judge was doing what he was doing. But like I said, I've got the proof. Still, no attorney, as you just saw, is going to make accusations against even a retired judge. This is Sally Yates' family-run circuit that she supervises as the federal prosecutor. Now, I already showed that there was never any charge prosecuted against me justifying so much as a traffic ticket in this case. Nothing to justify any charge at all. Nothing to justify an arrest. Nothing to justify even a ticket. Yet look at what they put in the paper to deceive you and steal money, federal money, overseen by Sally Quillian Yates, the federal prosecutor. She was over this entire process. Watch. Picture number 8, please. This is what's published by the sheriff and the district attorney. The paper says I was charged with kidnapping, with bodily injury, stalking, aggravated stalking, false imprisonment, aggravated assault, and aggravated assault with attempt to rape. Think about that. They just robbed you again. They just told you that they spent who knows how many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of dollars to track down and protect an innocent child, my child that they kidnapped from me, and my ex, who says there was never a mark on her. After talking to psychologists and everybody else, they all came back and said, the police report says there wasn't a mark on her. Psychologist says there wasn't a mark on her. There's no accusation that he ever did anything to her. There's no accusation that he ever did anything to her. There's no indication that there was a precipitating event that would cause him to even be angry at her. Yet you see, they charged me as if I were one of the most dangerous people around anywhere and that I had harmed many people. They stole all of that money. Yes, I was horribly wronged. I still do not want to take a wrongful imprisonment settlement from you out of the taxpayers' dollars. My campaign platform is accountability by the criminals at the top. If you vote for me, I will put an end to the hijacking of taxpayer dollars to cover the crimes of top law enforcement officials. If I'm your representative and you bring me a case where someone in the court system is abusing their authority and kidnaps your child or any other heinous crime by any corrupt law enforcement, attorneys, or the courts, I'll use my platform, this platform right here, this studio right here, to demand an explanation and that the perpetrators pay the full penalty of law. If you have an attorney that won't file complaints against a corrupt judge or police reports that don't line up with the videos or other evidence, call me. If you give me the position to represent you, I will represent you. Let's hear it out of their mouths one more time. Video 2, please.
For certain people in Pendergrass.
Like I said, it's situational ethics. But you have to look out for the family. That's what you and Bill don't do. Sometimes you got to look out for the family.
Russell.
That is Rob Russell with the Russell legal family, instructing the police lieutenant and the city clerk to watch out for the family. The man that recorded him was one of the good guys from one of the establishing families. Like I said, not everybody from every one of these families is a criminal. He was killed. I will shine a spotlight on anyone who tries to protect any crime family in North Dakota and any corrupt law abuses or abuses that attack your family. Things like the Dunseith debacle won't be ignored or covered up if I have a microphone. The competition will tell you they're tough on crime and corruption, but right now they are silent about my case, my son who was kidnapped 17 years ago. They are silent about the nation's most important eyewitness and the biggest threat to your freedom, the deep state, who abuses the spy capabilities of our government. I've already shown you what I'll do. I hope you'll do everything you can to get me heard by the national media. Fox 5 News team at night that's been standing behind Trump through all the FISA abuse, I'm sure they would love to know that there is an eyewitness against the chief suspect that attacked our country. The people I talk to on the street support it. They want me to be heard. I need your help to be heard so I can win the primary and raise money to compete against this great big corrupt machine so that I can fight for you, North Dakota. I'm Ferris Broxton. I hope you'll vote for me. Thank you.